this is Hyde, and today I will be giving a class on the landing flare. The landing flare is the procedure that you execute trying to put your aircraft down on the ground. Basically, it implies that you pull back on a stick and you maintain a nose-up attitude, and you bleed off speed as you land. And in theory, we should be able to put all three landing gear on the ground at the same time when we do it. In practice, it may not always be the case. Sometimes you'll have a small bounce, which is acceptable as long as you can control it. The best way to execute a landing flare is to have a good approach to start. If you rush your landing approach, you will have a bad landing. So we're going to do a nice long approach right now to make sure we can get the fundamentals down. A couple important reference points we need are the gun sight and the little machine gun blister on the hood. If you use track IR, I recommend that you lock your view in the center position so your reference points don't change. A good landing approach speed is 200, 180 to 200 kilometers an hour indicated. Any faster or slower than that, and you're going to risk overshooting or undershooting your landing. Also, it's good to add in a lot of elevator up trim. You should basically be able to fly the aircraft hands-free at 200 kilometers an hour if the aircraft is properly trimmed. We want to put our gun sight, the horizontal bar of the gun sight, basically in line with the threshold of the runway. That's our point of aim. Basically, we're going to use that yellow blister as our reference point. Once that blister touches the threshold is when we're going to go to idle. Begin pulling back slowly on the stick to flare. Okay, now we go to idle. Pull back on the stick and hold. All three gears down. Now we control the rollout with the rudder. We'll do one more so you can see it again. Okay, so we're back for one more landing and flare. I definitely want to stress the importance of elevator trim in this procedure. The less back stick force you are required to maintain, the better your flare will be, because then you won't be having to pull back on the stick so much. So I'll explain a little bit better how to set the trim for landing. Alright, so we'll turn on our approach right now. Basically, as the airspeed decreases, the elevator effectiveness decreases as well. So that requires more back stick force to maintain the pitch that you want. So when you start using your elevator trim, you can reduce that stick force quite a bit. And how I like to trim is I set the approach speed that I want, and I let go of the stick. Or I stop pulling back off on the elevator. And if the nose basically maintains a level attitude, there's enough trim. And you may think that that's a lot of trim, but remember that as we're flaring, we're at idle power and our speed is bleeding down, which in turn will imply that the elevator effectiveness decreases, so it'll even out as you're doing your flare. Again, we're looking for the proper approach attitude and speed, so right now we're on speed. We're going to put that horizontal bar of the gun sight basically on the threshold. I'm going to lock my track IR view right now if you're using it, so our reference point stays the same. Right now, if I let go of the stick, you'll notice that the nose wants to drop a little bit, so I'll add a little bit more elevator trim in there. Also helps as you're flaring to add a small amount of left rudder. It keeps the nose straight. So we'll do that. Okay, getting ready for the flare. There's our reference point, power to idle. I'm going to pull back gently and hold one attitude right there. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to pull back on the stick a little bit more to keep the tail wheel on the ground. And we're controlling the rollout with the rudder pedals. Just small movements back and forth to keep it straight.